Hi, Chris Lesso here. Welcome to the LTR Drumming Podcast. LTR is life through rhythm, unleashing your best self through drumming. So let's get into this. This one was awesome. We have on Mike Mangini. And what I admire about Mike is his enthusiasm, his dedication, and his consistency. He is focused on the path and he is dedicated to speaking his voice through drumming. And that's what we're going to dive into today. How to get farther, faster, how to get maximum results for the time that we dedicate to becoming our best selves through drumming. And right out of the gate, he shares some ideas. He says, I wish I knew 20 years ago what I know now because I'm progressing faster than I ever have. So we get into that and a Q&A and a lot of different things. And also how to inspire the next generation. So if you're just coming up or you're looking to go to your next steps and how to stay learning and inspired, you'll love this. Mike gives a lot of great advice, and it's really about the communities we surround ourselves with. So join the LTR drumming community at chrislesso.com, chrislesso.com. I can't wait to meet you. We've got a lot of free courses to get you started. You can join the community for free. So get in touch and let's become our best selves through drumming.
But basically, it's because I've been put out in this progressive band for the last 14 years, and before that, a Berkeley instructor, and before that, 10 years, it's another progressive. So everyone thinks it's progressive in notes and speed, and that's not my history. That's just something I can do. So I want to reach the younger people, and I need a lot of help doing that because rebranding yourself is brutal. It's just brutal. So let me let you run it, Chris, because I could talk all day.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're going to talk, we're going to drum. And I don't know if anybody can see, but we got Mike might jump to his kit. So you're going to see a really cool view of Mike's kit. I was just observing that Mike is constantly evolving and changing his setup. So I was just kind of nerding out and asking Mike a few questions. And just to go on that is the constant evolution, Mike, is that you sound like you're in a new, like you said, reinventing yourself, rebranding yourself. Like it's a constant evolution. Like riff on that for a second. Where are you kind of at?
Look, it's all about the music. I mean, the kit that a lot of people know me for, which is the giant drum set, and even the one you see here in this meeting, those extra like small drums and pads, that's not what I've been recording with. I put that up just to be able to practice some of the songs and things. I've been working with a smaller kit, but the bottom line, it's all about the music and that crazy kit. I didn't know how to play that. I mean, anyone's crazy. I mean, I'm flattered that people think I have that skill, but I did not have that skill. That's what I can communicate today and how to get that skill really fast instead of suffering like I did for decades. You don't have to suffer, and you do not need a lot of time. You just don't. You just need 25 minutes, 3 days a week for extraordinary results. And you ask me those questions, hit me with it. But the kit, it's all about the music. I have musical ideas. It's like, well, I got to set this up and I got to hit that with my left foot. Oh, gee, imagine that. My left foot's terrible. So what am I supposed to do now? Take 20 years to fix it? It's like, that's the whole thing, is that I was able to fix my body so that I could set anything up. And I'm always making a drum set for the music that I'm doing. And I have a new band coming out that nobody knows about, as I kept my big mouth shut for about 6 months. It's going to hit the very end of February. We've got the most high budget videos you could imagine in the can. We're not releasing a full album. I don't think people need to do that these days. But the point being is it was done on that kit that you see, minus, like, I have extra electronic pads and high drums and like crap like that, but I essentially didn't use all that for the recording. And so anyway, that's the bottom line. It's always about the music. That's kind of what it is.
Outstanding. One of the reasons I wanted to connect with you, Mike, and one of the things that inspires me about you is, like, I don't know if you know, we met like, I think late 90s, 2000 or something, and I recorded the interview on like a cassette tape, and I found it and I put it out for people to hear because we're 25 years later, and you're one of those guys that plays the long game. You've got a really strong sense of vision and a really strong mighty why, and somehow
Yeah.
you're able to like delete the noise, stay on course. And that's kind of what you were saying with like, we have minimal time, we all have a lot of chaos happening in our lives. How do we play the long game, and how do we improve through that? So I just wanted to honor you for that. I love that about you. And not a lot of people do that. They might have a good few years and then they lose focus, or they lose touch with their mighty why. And you've always been strong on that. So
Yeah, I mean those are management skills. When I was in college and by the way, I'll get to, like, I see people with kits, you got questions, hit me. But the overview is that, when I was in college, I wasn't allowed to go to music school in a sense. I could have made the decision that would have been supported in part, but not full. There's no way I was allowed to go to school for music. Music had to be something that supported. And my father's reasoning, which is not, he didn't fall off an onion truck. He's like, look, you won everything in the country, but because I competed, jazz, orchestra, percussion ensemble, drum corps, everything you can imagine, drum contest, whatever it was. He goes, look at you, you won all this stuff. Why do you have to go to college for something you're already pretty good at? It's like, go learn something else, because your mind, your grades are really good. Go do it. He was right, because rhythm knowledge would not exist had I not gone to the college and had an epiphany before I I ejected myself about my third semester in. I got yanked out. It was like, oh, hey, what are you gonna do? But it's about management and getting the picture, and like, well, you got to take a pencil and a big stack of paper. Oh, someone's got some. Marcus has some crazy audio. Stay muted, Marcus. Stay muted. There you are. You got to get the bigger picture. And so the bigger picture, you start to draw modules like, well, I want to do this and this and this and this. It takes this much time. I don't know anyone. I don't know any people to help me. My body's not ready. And there's just this big picture. But once you draw the picture, you kind of see where your life is. You see how much time you have. You see the situation you're in. You see your monthly bills. You see your likes and dislikes. You have things that are in your heart. All of these things, you write it all down. And that's what the long game's all about. It's like, I know, because if I get lost in what I'm doing now, forget about it. I'm all done, because I'll get on a drum kit and sit there and go, well, first of all, no one's paying me for this right now. And I've got kids. I got a house, I got this, I got that. I got to make some loot. So I can't just do that. And people have jobs. You can't just do that. So, but you sit down and get all stressed because it's like, my body doesn't work. It's going to take me 5 years. Like, oh gosh, everything's like looking at a mountain and you think you can't overcome it. But the management skills I learned in one class in college, in addition to learning about accounting, because so when people try to really screw you over, I kind of like, wait a minute. So I learned accounting, and I learned software engineering. And not to change the subject, and I won't change the subject, but this Rhythm Knowledge 2 book is basically, it came about, it's zeros and ones in it. You can't see that, but it's binary code. Anyway, it came from college, and I'm like, I can program my body. Just like I program a machine. I know I can do it. That's the long game, but you still have to go to work every day. So when you go to work every day and you see where it fits in, you don't stress out as much, and you're nice to yourself. You're like, hey, I've got 3 days a week for 45 minutes to spend on this drum thing, then that's it.
exactly.
That's it. That's it. That's all I have. So with that said, I appreciate you bringing it up, because now, when anybody asks me any questions, I'm answering the questions under that umbrella of having a
Right.
perspective. So go. I'm here.
Yeah. And everybody, Rhythm Knowledge 1 goes into the time management stuff, and that was a big influence on me. I mean, I got this
Yeah.
way back in the day, and I still read it now, and I get new things out of it now. And so the time management is about,
Yep.
yeah, having a vision and knowing what to delete. And you just seem like you've cleared
Uh,
the bandwidth out and kept your mind clear on the essentials.
Well, you have to because I want to watch a hockey game.
Right.
Today's like the NFL playoffs are on. And this, I want to be able to sit and do that. I want to be able to sit and literally be a complete buffoon, do nothing, get nothing done, laugh my head off, possibly do a little something I shouldn't necessarily, or eat too much, or sit with. You know what I'm saying? That's life. And if you don't modularly account for that, you're gonna. I would just. I don't know what I would implode.
Don't want to be a miserable drummer. No.
I'd implode.
So on that note, let's get to some questions. So I
Yep.
want to go to, let's see, let's start with Terry. If you could just unmute yourself. So Terry had a question related to what you were saying, Mike. Like you mentioned, it's a lot of chaos and sometimes we have minimal time. And sometimes we think, oh, I need 3 hours a day. And what you mentioned, like getting more done in less time. And Terry had a question on that, like how do you even improve off the kit? So Terry, just unmute yourself and ask Mike.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. Like, pleasure to be here with you, Mike. Thanks a lot for taking this time. When you're away from your kit or even your sticks, what are some things you do to develop your playing? And the reason I ask is I'm going backpacking in Thailand for the next 3.5 weeks, and I'm wanting to come back a better drummer than when I left, but I won't have my kit.
No problem. Do you have kids?
Yeah.
All right, so you realize that's an important question. I wasn't because I can see like basically your age. You got responsibilities, right? You have serious responsibilities and everything. So here's what you do. The way you improve off the drum kit is by doing two things. You isolate the motion that will help you most with the feet and the motion that will help you the most with the hands. And I'm talking about being in a hotel room or if you're backpacking, I'm talking about 10 to 15 minutes in a day, and that's it. You're going to go pick apples, climb a mountain, go fishing, go find yourself, whatever the heck you're doing out there, dig gold. Um, so here they are. Here's the answer to your question. With the hands, it's very important to isolate the most fundamental move of all, which is just down, up, down, up. And you would think, oh, well, whatever. Okay, I got it. I'm done. No. You have to start to engage muscles in your whole body and play on a surface and try to feel which muscles you need in your entire, almost your entire body, including your calf muscles, like pushing off to get power from that kind of motion. Also, to get speed from the motion. So you understand that? You're pushing off, trying to slap. You can't see me slapping, but I want to lift my arm up and slap. No, no, generate it completely. You would think from the wrist, just doing this, boom. But it's not strong enough. So you have to kind of engage your these muscles here and all in the. You got to like learn that protocol. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're kind of pushing into it. The other thing you got to do with your hands is bring your elbows. I'm not in the best place, but bring your elbows into your ribs. Like if everybody just pushes into their ribs with their elbows, push into your like it's very unnatural, okay? What happens if you loosen up your hands, but you're pressing into your rib cage, you're engaging these muscles, and look what's happening. I'm telling you, it's like my speed is not what you think it is. My speed comes from engaging that motion, that very motion. If I jumped on the kit and went around the kit like that, it would be because you saw my elbows come in, flex down, and really like dig in and make these muscles strong and flex. That way my wrists can move like that. Does that make any sense? So you've got to practice engaging with the hand and with your elbows and seeing if you can make your hands move. Those are two things. It's power and speed. Is that clear?
Absolutely.
Like,
Thank you.
and mess it up. Mess it up. Experiment with it. I mean, that's the only way you're really going to know is to let your body talk to you. So with the legs, there are four possible motions. What I need to do without going on a tangent is say, right now, I would highly advise that everybody goes to my official Vimeo page because that service is coming down at January the 31st. If you subscribe, you still get a whole month. It's so cheap. I'm giving the crap away. I'm just giving it away. It's so inexpensive, but I have a hands, foot, and body course. It's simple. I have a rhythm course. I have an all limb course, and I have extremely deep courses on hands and feet. All I can do is tell you that for the price of a sub sandwich or something, and a cup of coffee or a beer, I'm telling you, I would go and take advantage of this stuff. Anyway, it's coming down because the service is being moved, which might take some time. It's being migrated. So just know that what I'm saying now, if I don't fix your issue or whatever, it's over there for pretty cheap. So now with the feet, there are 4 things to do. 4. You stomp with your leg, which I don't recommend. You play with the heel down, which I don't recommend for what I'm saying. You can play any way you want. But this is specific for training. We're talking training with the small motion, and with the leg, same thing. You play with your whole leg, not right now. You play with your heel down, not right now. You play like sitting back, so your toe is like hitting the ground, but that's not how to play drums. So that's 3. You can't see me right now, but that's 3 things not to do. The one thing to do is you hit with your heels. Now, I don't think. Again, I haven't. I could go to the other room and just demonstrate this. But
let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the other part of the studio. I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm gonna be on the kit. But I'm answering a question on off the kit. But I just want to show you the motion.
Feet are so important, and everybody, Mike has given us a discount code. So if you want to get one of his books or get some of his stuff, and that's pretty cool. Nice. So Mike, you just got to unmute yourself just unmute yourself on the kit. Yeah.
I'm like, which screen? Which mouse?
I know. Which mouse?
So many. All right, so hello everybody. Now I'm gonna switch to this. You see my feet?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'm not saying don't play like this. I'm not saying don't play like that. I am not saying don't play like this. What I am saying is train like this off the kit. See how my heels are hitting the ground?
Yeah.
But it's not just about this. Now you have to. I'm sitting up, and maybe from the side, you can see I'm sitting up and leaning in, engaging my slightly in need of reduction stomach. Okay, that's the motion you practice, and here's the most important thing you can do. Is this lateral motion. Now watch this. Essentially what you're doing is you're using lateral motions, but you got to practice that off of the drum kit with your heels hitting the ground. Terry, is that clear?
Yep, absolutely.
It's clear. Now don't stomp. Don't be. Here's why. I can jump back. No, I'm going to stay here for a moment. The reason why is that the movement that is cancerous to drumming on a drum set, the worst thing you can do is throw your balance off by lifting up a leg. Because look at my body.
For sure.
Think about this for a minute. If you play with your heel down, right, in order to move your foot, you have to do like 3 motions. You have to pick your whole leg up, which of course does this, and you're done. You're done. Your timing's out. You can't even. There's a whole nother discussion about how to recognize going in and out of time, but it comes from balance, being unaware of your timing. It's impossible when you balance when your balance goes off, because your brain is completely fixated on correcting this, okay? You have no brain power left for timing. It's gone. So anyway, you want to avoid lifting your leg. That's why I'm like, don't practice smacking your heels in your whole leg on the ground. Don't practice, train with the heels down, because you're only isolating this. And don't practice like sitting like this. I mean, that's just almost... So Terry, this whole thing it's like, the answer to your question is very meticulously approached from a bird's eye view, but also from the micro world, the very, very small motions. And if you are that kind of speed doesn't happen by doing this. Okay? And it doesn't look like that. What I just did to go brrr doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like that, but that motion is the primary motion involved with your feet. Why? And I'm just going to answer it and go to another question. Why is it so important? Because it requires you to balance using your calf muscles. Look at this. That's how to play the drums, is balancing off your calf muscles. Look at my upper body. It's not moving. Look at, I'm not doing this. You know, it's like, see my legs moving laterally? That way I can move between the pedals. You know what I mean? You can move around, do ostinatos, make your feet move faster. All of that by getting this motion together. And then when you get on the pedals, but you didn't ask me that, that's a whole different thing. So if anyone wants to know about pedals and playing the kit, I'm going to do the second part, which is what to do when you do put your feet on the pedals. So should I go back in the other room or stay here? What other questions do we have?
Yeah, let's stay there. Let's kick it to the next generation. And Lucas, you can unmute yourself. But Mike, I love what you said there about balance and core. It's like, that's such a big thing we work on here is feet and just everything coming from the core and balance. And you're right. I like what you said. When you're thrown off, you're done. You can't, your sense of time's gone. Your confidence is gone. Yeah. I love that you brought that up. Yeah. So Lucas, this is Mike. You're up. You got the mute there.
All right.
First of all, sorry, Mike. First of all, it's honestly a pleasure to meet you. I know you said earlier you were talking about being a miserable drummer. That's not an option. Like, you just have to keep going. You got to keep practicing. You just got to keep getting better and better, no matter how hard the challenge is. And you also talked about, like, seeing the bigger picture. Like, honestly, I know the feeling because it's kind of like what happens at my job at Cineplex. Like, a lot of guests come and they see the bigger picture because when you watch a movie, you feel like you're in it. So I feel like that's kind of like the same thing with drumming, although they're kind of different things. They're kind of the same too. Uh-huh.
So with that said, getting a feel for your situation, what is the most important thing I could help you with?
There's no questions. I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you did.
You rock, Lucas. You rock, Lucas. Now, Joseph, are you here? Because I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk to Mike. So if you can unmute yourself if you're there. So this is Joseph. He's in grade 11, and he's looking forward to going into like a Berkeley type college or something. And Joseph met me being proactive, finding this community, and he's really thinking ahead to like the next 5 years, next 10 years. And it's just so cool and rare to see sometimes for someone that is in grade 11. And so Joseph, just question for Mike. And I know time management, you were mentioning like you're practicing so much and you feel like, my life's so full, and getting more out of less time and getting ready for that next step.
Yeah, just how did you manage your time? Because I know you didn't study music fully in college. So like how did you manage your time in terms of like practice, work, and social life?
Is your drumming lacking flow? Maybe getting around the kit? Maybe you're overthinking too much? Maybe you're a little tense in your technique? Maybe you don't feel as centered or as confident as you like when you drum? I get it. This is about flow. And flow is that magical place drumming brings us to, where time disappears, your inner critic shuts down, and drumming is energizing and fun like it's meant to be. On my journeys of drumming around the world, I've learned so much about how to get into flow in my drumming. So that's why I put together this 3-step flow guide that'll help you get more flow out of your drumming and get to that energized, fun place like drumming was meant to be. So go to chrislesso.net/drumflow. That's chrislesso.net/drumflow for your free 3-step flow guide to get more flow out of your drumming. So let's become our best selves through drumming. I'll see you on the inside.
So like how did you manage your time in terms of like practice, work, and social life?
With a pencil and piece of paper mainly. My question to you is, are you about to enroll in a college or are you in one?
No, I'm in high school still.
Oh, you're in high school? All right. Check this out. This is really important. I get asked by many people all over the planet, oh, I want to go to Berkeley. What should I do? Oh, to music school. Like, okay, well, let's back up for a minute because there are a couple of things to consider. The first thing to do before you go into any college, especially if you're going to be playing music, look at the requirements that they have for the first semester's final test. Like at Berkeley, in your first semester, there's something called level 1. And you go to a level 1 final exam, called a proficiency test. These proficiency tests are split between an exact curriculum that you've got to learn to be graded, and then, okay, well, who are you and how do you play? Well, let me tell you something. The who are you, what do you like, how do you play, what music do you prefer, what career do you want to have, that doesn't even come into play that much. It's like you're being graded on the curriculum. So you've got to have your act together or your grades will be lower. And if you don't prepare for that ahead of time, you'll be placed in lower level classes. Do you understand? So the bigger picture is you're being shoved down instead of pushed through. And it's all because people don't know that when they show up, it's like, hey, go learn these things. You got to learn them, whether you like them or not. Then if you don't like it, don't go to the school. Because you have to learn these to get a grade. And if your grades are terrible, it's obvious what happens with that. And if you can't play certain things, it's obvious what happens. You can't get into classes. So you got to think about it. But what I want to say is that they're usually basic things, except I found they're not so basic. Let me tell you what I mean. And then when you manage your time, once you're in the school, what do? You prioritize. It's always prioritization. What do I have to do versus what do I want to do? So you got to take a piece of paper and separate them. What do I have to do? I got to get my grades. I have to go my part-time job because I got to eat, or whatever it is. You have to do it. But you got to schedule that. Sometimes with the drums, what you have to do is learn, okay, the first semester Berkeley is, all right, so you play a rudimental snare drum piece that sounds something like this. You have to learn that and present it. You have to learn an orchestral piece that sounds like this. It's orchestral. There's something that separates those two, by the way, in the hand that I can share to be able to sound like that. Then you have to play 5 beats. Guess what? If you're an alternative rock drummer coming in that likes this music, these beats, stuff like that, nothing in the test allows for that. Not only does nothing allow for that, but if you hit the drums that loudly in that school, in those rooms, you're going to fail the exam. They'll freak out. Oh, you can't hit the drums that loud. Oh, what are you doing? You're not playing for the room. Dynamics, 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 dynamics. And when I was teaching there, I always said, wait a minute, isn't playing really loudly dynamics too? I thought dynamics was an inclusive term. Inclusive means you don't exclude anybody. Anyone that says, oh, this is inclusive, it's always excluding people. Like, if the dynamics are inclusive, you cannot exclude any. So you cannot exclude playing at quintuple, tentuple forte. It's not unmusical. It's very musical. But in that environment, in that school, and in that room, that kind of playing is considered Neanderthal and wrong. So you can't go do, that's like, remember I said there's a curriculum and then there's you? You can't go in and do that. Now, there's reasons why that's a good thing, where someone, a teacher would be like, hey, look, don't bang the drums like that in the room. That's because in many environments, that doesn't work in it. It just doesn't work. So you have to, it's always easy to smack the drums. It's very difficult to play more quietly. You understand what I mean? So it's not like it's a really bad thing that's being said. It's that I'm just saying you can't do that. So what do you have to do? You have to play, like, for example, a funk, call it funk rock. It's not even rock. There's nothing that's like rock standard pretty much in the curriculum. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's not really cymbal crashing, bashing stuff. That's not part of the thing. What if that's who you are? You got to learn this other stuff. I recommend you learn the other stuff. I think that's correct. I think it's a good thing because, you're learning your control, excellent. You're learning to read figures, excellent. You're learning to play different beats with finesse, excellent. It's all helpful stuff. I mean, John Bonham wouldn't be what he was if he didn't have blues and some swing in his background. But you got to play rock funk,
Sure.
Then you got to play Brazilian. Afro-Cuban. You got to know how to do that. You got to play shuffle. A lot of people can't shuffle. So when I teach these things or suggest that, hey, before you go to the school, learn these things, you can't just sit and play like that. You can't just do it. You can't hear it and go, oh, I think I'll do that, because your hands don't have what's necessary. So when you learn these beats, you got to learn them in their basic form, so you show up at least knowing the language. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, fully.
The language of the beat. So you got to look at what's on the test. Do the final exam before you even get to the school, because when you get to the school, they have to place you. When they place you, what do you think they're going to ask you to play?
What you just did.
Yep. If you think they're going to ask you, hey, just play a song for me. Oh, okay. Yes, you get to do that. Yes, it's a good thing. Yes, it's beneficial, but it's not. You learn an 11-minute progressive rock piece, and there's all kinds of complicated things in it. I guarantee you're not getting more than 25 seconds to do it. That's it. Okay, I got you. You can play. It's like, because we got to move on and give you the rest of the exam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you show up with who you are, and it's very important, and it's considered, but it's only a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, exactly.
So look at what's being required. Get your act together with it. What is being required, again, it's good stuff. It's not like you won't be able to use it. It might not be your thing, but it's still good stuff. So just get it together. And you got to prioritize yourself when you get there.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's funny you bring that up, because I'm actually a jazz drummer, so I try and pay attention mostly to the requirements on the auditions and the exams and stuff. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, and it's you want to try to get as much information as you can about what's being asked of you. And it's interesting. Parents talk to me too. They're like, well, my son, my daughter wants to go here, blah 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 blah. And it's that approach is more bird's eye view. It's more like, oh, my child is going to go to music school. Okay, great.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's too
wait a minute.
broad. It's like, oh,
Yeah, just too broad.
have you looked at all this yet? Have you looked at the requirements? Oh, how are they going to grade you? Oh, who are you going up against? Oh,
Right, right. So in Berkeley in particular, clearly they have their act together with curriculum, and the teachers are unbelievable. They're absolutely amazing, and all this stuff. But it is a curriculum. It does have a structure to it, and certain kinds of music don't work in that structure. Although you can apply the stuff to your style of music. Does that make any sense?
yeah, 100%.
All right. Okay.
I love it. And
So
the time management thing is so important. I use computers and stuff, but pen and paper. I love what you said, Mike. Just what do you have to do, and just ruthlessly deleting the unessential, and just that's how you play the long game. So man, there's so much noise out there, and it's like, how do we tune into the signal and tune out the noise? And that is challenging for any age. So awesome. So Dan Morrison, live from Mexico, you're up. Got a great question here.
Well, unlike Lucas and Joseph, I've got the opposite problem. I just turned 70, and what advice would you give a 70-year-old for setting goals and what to accomplish? I mean, I've got a great teacher here with Chris, who just continues to overwhelm me with stuff to do and another book to buy, and of course now I'm on a Zoom call with another guy that wants to sell me a book, and then I go, what am I going to do? And so, but I'm having lots of fun doing this, and I play in two big bands. I play in a jazz band. I play in a rock band. I play lots of times in a concert band, and so it's great fun stuff. But I need to know, how to keep myself focused. And I'm a junkie for getting more information and wanting to do everything. So I put myself in overwhelm as well. So
it's the same challenge, right? Deleting signal to noise.
Yeah.
Energy of a 22-year-old, by the way. Energy of a 22-year-old.
Chris. Hey, Chris, let me go to the other room so I can address this.
Absolutely.
This gentleman. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and I have that too, Dan, where it's like the dance, maybe the yin yang, where drummers are so passionate and so energetic, like, I want it all. And you're here today. Everybody tuned in live today, but then it's also like, what do you delete to stay on the signal and delete the noise, right? So it's like that kind of dance. Yeah, just unmute yourself, Mike. I muted you on that channel.
There it is. I just needed to find the unmute button had to pop up. Am I here?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. So Dan, first of all, my store has had a lot of trouble shipping to Mexico. Like, I don't send any memorabilia.
I live in Vancouver, Canada, so don't worry about that.
I should have said that. Sorry. He's not.
I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation
resident
here.
Let me help you here. The information that you're being given, okay, if you write it all down, you don't want to perceive it as far as a list goes, because then you don't see what connects to what. You want to understand the essence of each one of these things, because you can put a lot of stuff together. In other words, I would put together my coordination exercises with my language exercises. What do I mean language? Well, learning a new beat, learning a new style of drumming, learning, a language. But I would put that together with coordination. Here's what I mean by that. Coordination is something that it is something. It is definable. It is discernible. It's got an exact science to it. It's got something that works the same way in every human being that's alive on this planet. So when you understand yourself and you understand what coordination actually is, and I want to try to help guide, because this is not a very long cast, but like this just so you know what's in my stuff. I don't have digital versions of that. I am going to do audio versions, but that's like next month or something. Anyway, this talks about what stuff is. What is coordination? What is a schedule? How does it work? This is how do we work? What are we? That's what's in here. But when you get it,
Awesome book.
and you put together, okay, I got to learn these beats. I got to learn Afro-Cuban music. That's when you have to practice slowly. Coordination is something you have to practice slowly. So just combine them. And instead of doing specific deep dives into coordination with combinations of limbs, like my latest book is very, very heavy as far as that goes. It's a coordination book, but it's advanced coordination. It's got music notes in it. Not like this book doesn't have hardly any music notes, except it explains what music notes are, which is the most important thing in the planet. Like, what the heck am I even looking at? How does this work? What's a 16th note? That's all in here. This is the latest, the latest one, which is working with 24 limb pairs flying around and switching, and it sounds extremely complex. Well, it is, but I made it really easy. But here's the deal: you wouldn't want to spend most of your time just on an exercise. You gotta take, why don't I use that thinking, but I'm gonna learn the Afro-Cuban stuff. So what's the thinking? Well, it's learning how to coordinate with your eyes. And if you're a blind person, this method still works, where you're aiming your head in the direction of a limb. Somehow your ear pinna give you a sense of stereo image. So the eyesight and everything is only about image, but image comes before eyesight. Image exists, and then you have eyesight to perceive it. You can perceive it with your ears. That's why a blind person knows depth and perception and stuff. So my point being that when you get the coordination protocol, well, you do that for a smaller amount of time, because now you've got to go and apply that into the language, like Afro-Cuban. So you put them together. If you're doing a speed exercise, you want to get your chops faster. Well, don't just sit there and play. There's specific things you can do, but why not take some of the moves from the language that you need, the style? Why don't you put those together, or combine two sets of limbs at the same time? You see what I mean? So if you've got your hand exercises and your foot exercises, they can be combined, but that's you need direction. At least someone that knows. I know, so I can tell you because I stack. But you understand what I mean? If you're being overwhelmed, what is coordination friendly or based? What is language based? What is speed and accuracy based? What is song learning based? Like, what are all these things?
Yeah, dividing it. Yeah, I like that.
I'm trying to combine. So, and then just to let you know, because I opened up the can of worms, but this third book is called The Ultimate Stickings. This book is able to be played from front to back by a beginner, by an absolute beginner, because at the beginning it says, hey, play at the speed you can do it. Everybody a non-drummer can do this book, and it's like me. People think look at the drum kit and the crazy stuff and the polyrhythms and the chops and the blah, 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 blah. No. That's a derivative. That's a language. That's a result because of this stuff. Why is this the ultimate stickings? And I would recommend is that it includes the voice as a limb. Who does that? Nobody.
The fifth limb, definitely. That's
and
so
then
cool.
and then it makes your mind a limb. Like watch this, because I know Laura, you have a question, so let her go next. It's like, so check this out. I have a limb and it's a right hand. I got a left hand. It's like, okay, right, left, right, left. Okay, right, left, right. Check it out. I'm thinking right, left, the words. I'm saying them out loud, right, left. What's extraordinary that book will help with is this. In my mind, because of my eyes or my ear pinner, I am perceiving the meaning of right, left, while I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So I'm playing a pattern of 3, counting 7. No, no, no. People try to they try to count one, then count the other, and count one, or hear it. No, you do not learn this instrument with the ears. Absolutely not. You play with your ears. You're a musician with your ears. You discern things with your ears. You process stuff with your ears. You just do not learn new motions, because motions are about what they feel like, and you learn what they feel like by what they look like. So anyway, that's a big tangent, but Dan, put the things together. Can we go to Lori?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love you brought up the fifth limb there, and also you only have so much time, like breaking things down into the coordination and the language,
Yeah.
and how this is a language, and it really has to be. And again, that's
Yeah.
almost related to Joseph's question of just deleting the unessential, being focused. What do I have to do? Prioritizing. So, Laura, you're up.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Mike. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you
Not a
too.
terribly different question, newer drummer, and I definitely tend to put the cart before the horse and try to learn Everlong when I don't have the coordination or the speed. So in the beginning of the call, you said, 25 minutes, 3 times a week can get you there. And so I guess for me, it's also deletion and knowing what to focus on. Not just sitting down and trying to play Everlong because I don't have the skills yet to do it. So
Yet.
yeah,
Watch.
yeah,
Okay.
no, I will. Oh yeah,
Can I tell you how you can learn Everlong in a couple of weeks up to a point? And when I
yeah,
say up to a point, we're talking common sense. Like
yeah, of
if
course.
I say, oh, hey, check this out, watch my hands, you're intellectually going to get it, but there's no way you're going to sit down and do
Right.
that like in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
Well, maybe if you get
maybe.
if you get my hands closed. So anyway, here's what you do. Get yourself a slow downer for a device.
Oh,
I
okay.
I never trade back my phones. I'm like, I'm from New England, so I follow the Tom Brady protocol. And I'll either smash my phone, or if anyone's into sports, you'll know why I just said that. You're gonna smash your phone, or I keep them, and so you can use them as practice devices, so that you don't get text messages and phone calls and crap coming in.
Sure.
Get a slow downer. Take the beat the song Everlong.
Yeah.
Try to discern. You could probably get some tabs free online. Here's what you're supposed to do, because some of you are at kits. Like this is all perspective. Some of you want to know right now, how do I get my hands fast? Like right now, watch me, and I'll watch you and go, your shoulder's too low. This is happening. You're not using. I can fix it for you like right now. But what you need to do is say the words: right side, right hand, both hands, right hand.
Okay.
Right side. Do you want to see, like, you got to look,
Yeah.
listen to the beat going. So the song is first thing you better do is go, wait a minute, that doesn't work, because it's an odd number of bars. So in your mind you have to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and then it comes in the middle, like, oh, wait a minute, the beat's in the middle somewhere. So it's
Yeah.
1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1. And it's like 7 or whatever the heck is in the song. You
Yeah.
got to get that in your mind first. You got to count through it slowly. Count through it slowly, because if you say the words out loud, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, or something like that.
Yeah.
You hear it in your mind. You hear it actually in your head, and you don't have to say it anymore. You're going to hear it in your head.
Gotcha.
So now you're looking at your body, and because you're trying to coordinate your limbs, now you can say, okay, like both. So it's like the right side lining together. So you're going, like, it's like do da do do da do do da. So it's like, watch this. Right side, hands. Right side, right foot, hands, like boom, bop, boom, 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 boom. That second right foot hit is by itself.
Yeah.
You got to have the common sense perspective. Go, well, wait a minute. Which limbs are landing together and which ones are not? So by slowing it down,
Yeah.
you can say those words. And if you count it first, that's going in your mind. That's why this is a six limb book. And you don't know it until you just do what I tell you to do. I go, say this, look here, think that, do this, blah, blah, blah. Do it. because the stickings themselves, our great aunt living in Wisconsin can do this book. It just, oh, that's just like one right, two lefts. That's why rudiments are ridiculous. They're ridiculous presented in the wrong way. Like, oh, you need to learn your rudiments and get your rudiments and rudiments and rudiments. Like, really? How do I hold my sticks? So if I practice all these rudiments all day, what if I'm using the wrong technique? It's going to take me 10 times the time to fix all that bull.
Yeah, that happened to me. That really happened to me.
That's why I'm saying you've got to work on these pure motions, the hand, bare hand. I can get to sticks in a minute because some of you are on the kit. You might appreciate this. So anyway, you get what I mean, Lori?
Yeah,
It's like,
thank you.
slow it down, count out the number. You can find that online. I mean,
Sure.
how many, and especially now that this new AI thing, which I don't like AI. I don't like it on my phone. I've deleted all kinds of applications that know everything I'm looking at and typing. Just a whole nother subject, but it's like sickening. That is so sickening, and it's just abused. But at the same time, these technologies, these technologies are not terrible things in and of themselves. So like a chat GPT, well, what's the bar structure of Everlong by the Foo Fighters? I just used it for the first time yesterday. So
Okay.
I don't
Oh,
know.
cool.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what am I supposed to do to fix this computer? And then it gives you the answers. You're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
You
Great.
got, all right, that's how you do it. You
Slow
slow
down.
it down.
Okay.
You talk to your body, but you think about the timing.
Okay. Okay. And I know something that's helped me is when I sing with my songs. That's helped my drumming too.
Yep.
Not that I'm aware necessarily of
No.
counting, but just by putting that in.
Using
Yeah,
the voice.
Thank you.
Using the voice.
Using the voice. But where that can be a detriment is when you learn by sound instead of learning by eye and feel. That's where it's a detriment. Why? Let me give you a quick example. If I'm tapping two notes right here, 1, 2, 1, 2, I'll even do a motion so you can see the two notes, right? But over here, I'm like dot 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. I'm fitting 5 in the same space as 2. You cannot count both these things at once, but what you can do is with your voice do one, and with your sense of touch or your mind do the other one. So it's how you stack it. So you're learning by seeing how they all work together. If you sing, sometimes you say, oh, I'm just going to sing over here, but then I'm going to go play the drums over here. The brain doesn't work like that.
Yeah. No.
You've got to combine them.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody
Thank
else?
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I love that. And Mike, tell me if I got this right. So the Steve Vai audition years ago, you had minimal time to learn that. Did you slow the songs down? Like you played it at speed, slowed it down by 10 BPM, played it again, slowed it down another 10 BPM, played it again until it was like half the speed. And then you sped it back up because you had a short amount of time to have that right. I think I heard that years ago or something like, did you actually, that's like 45 minutes for one song. You know what I mean? Where you slow it down, slow it down, slow it down until it's 50% of the speed. And then you go 10 BPM incrementally back up. Do I have that right?
Yeah, yes, you do. Before I answer the question, I very quickly thread the whole podcast together. 45 minutes is a long time for one song, so you have to book that in.
Yes.
Like 25 to 45, 35 minutes, whatever, 3 days a week, that refers specifically to getting your hands and your feet, literally 5 years of speed inside of a few months.
Yeah, I wanted to end with that. Yeah,
literally 5 years of speed. I'm like, I spent 3 decades. What a goofball. But nobody told me. Anyway, so to answer your question, all right, there's a lot of information out there, and it gets convoluted and mixed. You just mixed a couple situations. I'll clarify. I used a slow downer for the Dream Theater audition and a lot of other things that I prepared because I didn't have a lot of time. And I say I didn't have a lot of time. I was busy. I had 3 weeks. The first week I was out of commission at Berkeley. The second 11 days I was in South America traveling. Do you think I was practicing? No. So what does that leave me? 6 days to go to an audition that I won. How did I do that? Because I didn't win it from knowing people and all the stuff that people put online there. I don't know.
Sure.
They're just literally out of their minds, I guess. No, everyone had to go play a certain thing. So how did I prepare? Yeah, I slowed down the tunes. I'm flying. I had like 7 flights all around South America and back and forth. All I was doing was listening to the music in slow motion. So
Yeah, just the slowing down, the slowing down aspect is powerful.
For Steve Vai, it wasn't an audition. It was a series of events that worked together as an audition. Like I had submitted a VHS cassette to one person that somehow got it to him. And that took a couple of times to do because the people you give stuff to, they just throw it out. They throw it out. So it was a VHS. It was a cassette tape where I Kill the Guy with the Ball and slowed it down on, like, we're talking with a tape machine. Slow it down. They didn't have an app. That's how hard I wrote out every hit. It took forever. It took 11 hours one day, 8 hours another day, another 10 hours another day for one song, right? But
Wow.
I had to record it correctly in real time. I had all the sheet music out. Sheet music isn't something that's a detriment. It's a big help, but it can be a detriment if you got pieces of paper everywhere. Where do you put them? Where do you put them? I had to go and find literally a piece of wall. And I put the piece of wall, and I did, in like sheetrock or whatever the heck it was I was at, in my studio, and put that wall and supported it. It's like on chairs. It's like it looked like so mishmash. But I put the music on that, and then I had my tape machine, and I recorded the song. Then I got in a discussion with Steve Vai, and Steve accused me of faking it because there's no possible way you did this. Like you played with the actual track. There's no way, because all the hits are exactly right. He goes, there's no way you did it. Don't lie to me. I said, I'm not lying to you. I am not lying to you, and I can even give you the raw drums if you want. Right? So it was a series of things with Steve Vai, including the difference between me being hired for a song, which was the Fire Garden Suite, and how I acted that day. How did I behave that day? I drew a picture, and it's like, wait a second. I'm going into this man's world. He's established. He's very, very particular. He has a reputation for this. He does this, that. He's this. It's like, who is this person? So when I communicated with him, the first thing I did is made him laugh. The second thing I did,
Nice.
the second thing I did is say, what do you need from me? What do you want me to go? What do you need? Well, okay, let's do this. And that made him feel very, very comfortable, I believe. And when he asked me my 2 cents, well, I gave my 2 cents. He gave, so it was a relationship. It was later that he's like, hey, will you be in my band? So it was a series of things. With Dream Theater, it was an audition. But both of those involved, I got to slow this music down. It's going by so fast. So like Lori, hearing, so I'm going to play Everlong. Well, I was teaching at Berkeley, and a student came in and said, I want to learn Everlong. I said, well, we're going to make a map of it. We're going to understand it, what you're getting into.
Right.
We're going to know how it works. You're going to know what you're dealing with. And now we're going to look at the drum part and say, this is how the drums are played.
Whether you're brand new to open-handed drumming or you've been playing for years and want to take your game to a new level, I put together a great guide for you. You can get it for free at chrislesso.com/OHD. chrislesso.com/OHD. And of course, that stands for open-handed drumming. And this will be a gateway into your next level of excellence on the drums and in life. So my name is Chris Lesso. Subscribe to the channel. Connect with me at chrislesso.com. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how open-handed drumming has impacted your weaker side, your creativity, and your ultimate confidence in drumming and in everything you do.
Now we're going to look at the drum part and say, this is how the drums are played. Now, there's all kinds of components. There's coordination, there's tone, there's feel, there's speed, there's power, there's strength. There's all of these components that you got to work on. So let's do them in pieces. So you know, I had to do it too. Like you think like, well, I'm a teacher and I'm going to show this person how to play the song that I can sit down and learn and play. But you would think that I would do that very, you know, like 5 seconds or something. And it's not true. It's not true because every song has a special thing. And yeah, you can get your way through it because there's a difference between learning a song and really playing the song, which is for auditions, you have to do both. You've got to
Right.
learn it, but you got to really play it. So how do you do it? You got to slow down. You got
Just
to
the
slow
slowing
down.
down, slowing down in life, just slowing down. I had this mentor once and he made you play it like 40 BPM and just getting used to the. So I remember you said that years ago, just slowing a song down and like half the speed and man, and just
Yeah,
programming the brain and getting
yeah,
breaking down is beautiful. So
yeah.
I want to be respectful.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a comment to make
Yeah.
as I'm watching everybody. I'm seeing people on the screen, dude, especially you know you guys at the drum kits. Um, Slowing down is a thing that can be detrimental. There are certain motions that if you practice them too slowly, you will overdo it and mess yourself up. So the whole idea about adages, here are some adages. Don't think when you play. Play slow, slow down. Play don't play loudly. All of these adages that people make up, do rudiments. Do this, do that. This is musical, this is unmusical. Less is more. Let me go and rip all of these apart right now with language. Less is more. Really? Really? So I'll tell you what. So do you think I'm going to sell you 4 books for the price is one? That less is more? See you later. I don't think so. More is more, not less. Less is not more. More is more of the same unit. When someone says that, what are they saying? They're trying to tell you, oh, more notes is less musical. Really? How about in speed metal? More notes is more musical. How about with Dream Theater? More notes is more musical in spots. So this is a bunch of BS. All these adages. Okay, slow down, slow down. Okay. Certain things need to be slowed down. What things need to be slowed down? What things should you practice as fast as you can? I'll tell you what things. Bouncing a stick and feeling motion. You have to really lay and bounce the stick, or otherwise, you'll never know what that feels like. You will never know what you're getting into because going or like jazz, ding, diddling, 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 ding, diddling, ding, diddling, ding, ding. All you're doing is taking the stick and throwing it on a hunk of metal and it's going brrr. And you're controlling it right here with the fulcrum, either the thumb and first finger, or if you're traditional, it's always like the thumb and first finger. It's like it's here with a stick there, or it's here with the stick here. Either way, the result is the same. Your thumb is the most important thing on your hand. Your thumb. That's where the strength is there. That's where the control is. That's where the accuracy, that's where everything comes from. That's how you prevent injuries, is having your knowledge of how the thumb works is the primary thing to make sure you do not get hurt. But I'll tell you right now, if you practice slowly, you have momentum. The momentum does not allow you to feel the micro muscles. That's why you got to practice like this. It's very small motion, trying to put power in it. Very small motion with the feet. Like after you do the heel thing, try to do the smallest possible motion you can when you get on some pedals. It lets you with the beaters. Your mind is blown. You feel muscles. You're up here, your adductors, your obliques, your side of your body, whatever is between your legs, the whatever the muscles are way up, the hip flexors, the whatever. All you feel every single little muscle that you cannot feel with these big motions. So practice slowly? I don't think so. Not in that case. Absolutely not. And here's the other one. Don't think. Don't think when you play. Okay. Let's assess this. All right,
Good
everybody.
luck.
All right, everybody. You're on your drum kits, okay? You're not gonna think. I'm gonna sit in my chair and not think. Watch what happens. Nothing's happening.
I'll bet you're thinking about not
So,
thinking.
but the thing is, nothing is a thing. Nothing is something. So anyway, it is what it is. You got to be careful of all these. Nothing is a no thing, really. You can't think of nothing. Oh, I'm going to shut my eyes. Well, I see darkness. Darkness is a thing. You're still not ever thinking of nothing. Sorry.
Yeah, and you go into that in Rhythm Knowledge One with the active conscious mind
Yeah.
and just being in the grid in your video, the
Yeah.
grid. Like, so I want to be respectful of your time, and let's just end with, you mentioned, Mike, you're going through like a lot of chaos, and but you're getting more out of small bursts of time now than you said, like, 20 years ago you kind of used a lot of time. And I'll just end with Clary, your question, because it's exactly related to that. And Mike, I'd love to end with you on the kit, just maybe demonstrating some of the things that are helping you like reinvent yourself.
Uh-huh.
But Clary, your question is
Go
really,
ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
yeah. Clary,
Go
just
ahead.
unmute yourself. Oh, you're muted, brother.
Who?
How about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Greetings from freezing Florida. I know you guys don't feel sorry for me, but Mike, it's a pleasure to meet you. Chris and LTR helped me out a lot mentally and also with my gaining more and more feel. But I'm older. I won't say how old I am because some of us, Mike, are the same age. But trying to gain more power, more confidence. And one of my biggest hurdles right now is the dexterity difference, disparity from left to right hand. And, I've practiced for many years. In your experience, have you found anything that I can focus on with the dexterity and also kind of get past hurdles of 40 years to have more power when I'm playing in bands?
Yes.
So
Yep. Wow, these are subjects I'm passionate with. So the answer to your question is it's a big deal. Like, I'm going to answer it in 5 sentences. It's like a lifetime of information. But here's the thing. The first thing, okay, the first thing is your calf muscles, and with your stick, the way that you are pressing into the stick by avoiding two things. I have to say this before I get the dexterity, because I'm going to go to the kit, because this is what I'm going to be doing. You do not want to close this gap and try and do this with your fingers, because look what happens. You'll get carpal tunnel syndrome. The other thing, like by doing this, the other thing you don't want to do is close that gap and have the pressure on the side of your wrist. You'll get tendonitis. So you'll get tendonitis and carpal tunnel if you're grabbing the sticks too tightly. Let me speak about an adage that is false that will help you, all of you, correct this, so that when you practice, you get used to the squeezing in here without stressing out these non-muscular areas. The adage is relax, just relax, play relax. Okay, all right. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna really relax. You get my point?
You're the drummer. Yeah.
There's no such thing. So to get the dexterity on the kit, don't ever, hey, just relax. No. It's what are you relaxing in your body, and what muscles need to be flexed to support you. So your calf muscles. So your dexterity begins with your heels off the ground. Please, nobody here, at least for a couple weeks, don't let your heels drop to the ground and play like this, like I showed you with the heel. Don't do it for a couple weeks. It's not that I'm saying don't play like that, but feather the kick. I'm not doing that. But you got to have your heels off the ground and flex your calf muscles. That's why that exercise I told Terry is so valuable, because you're really pushing off your calf muscles and you're developing them. So that when you move your leg left to right, you're not lifting up and moving. That's the beginning of your dexterity. The other end of it is with the hands, so that when you play, you're not like lifting up to go down. If you play with too much momentum and not enough small motion, your dexterity will never improve, because your balance is going up. So I'm going to go to the drum kit, but do know, I'm focusing on my calf muscles, and I'm focusing on the squeeze with the thumb muscle, because if you're a weightlifter and you're doing a bench press and there's a lot of weight and it's right above your neck and someone says, just relax. No, thanks. I'm going to the kit. I'll be right back. But the squeeze, my technique course to get you right through all this stuff. The hands. Anyway, I'll be right back.
Yeah, we call it MTA, like muscle target awareness. I like what Mike is saying, just that intention and awareness, and also having to get more out of less. So right before we signed on, Mike was saying he was getting more out of his practice than he ever has. So let's see where he's at. Yeah, you just got to unmute yourself, Mike. It's a tiny button. You're live.
For some reason, my entire screen went.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, so as I play a little bit, all these things I talked about, squeezing of the hands, the calf muscles. See, I'm moving laterally. So if I just start out doing something like this, I know it looks like I'm lifting my leg, but it's really the calf muscle I'm pushing off. Does everyone get that? So for the dexterity, I'm pushing off, boom, off of my calf muscle, which you do this exercise, and then you get on pedals, you do a very small motion. I'm telling you, I feel things in my legs and body that I didn't know muscles I had. That's very hard to do. So going back to the Berkeley thing, I didn't want to make it seem like, oh, okay, they're going to yell at you if you play loudly. Play quiet, play quiet. There's a benefit. There's a reason why they're suggesting to play quietly. Anyway, if I play a little, you want me to just play something?
Definitely. Yeah, and wherever you're at, like whatever's helping you accelerate with the time you have now and helping you get to that breakthrough to your next level.
So what I did there wasn't like the most musical thing I've ever done or you've ever heard, but I was just trying to show some of the concepts of moving my feet around, getting fast clusters of notes with the feet, because when I went brrr with the feet, I didn't do this. You know? It was a small motion that I practiced for 25 minutes, 3 days a week for 2 weeks, and my feet, the foot speed went through the roof. And I mean, like, my speed went up a lot just by doing this. See how they're moving laterally? In, middle, out, in, middle, out, in, middle, out. In,
Tap
middle,
dancing. Yeah.
in, middle, out, in, middle, out. And then to get that even and flowing good, you know, it takes some time to get used to the lateral motions, but it's all off the calf muscles, the dexterity, the stuff I was talking to Lori about, like, look at your right side landing together, your hands landing together. This is the kind of thing that's in, like, that book, Rhythm Knowledge 4, which is coordination. Even though it's a, like, deadly advanced kind of an exercise, but it's based off my second book. So here's the thing. Let me just close out. And I'll just summarize something, if I can. Just so you know my materials, if you're interested in any of them, just listen, you got to know what you're getting into. In these next 10 days, my entire web world is being remade, because the way my web world is with all my stuff, it's very unclear. Like, I did it in mishmash. It's kind of convoluted. There are a lot of people that are really confused about what my stuff is and how it works and where do you get it. Like, I'm like, well, you just go to the site, but it's not that easy. So I'm having everything redone. But here's basically what's happening. That first book is what is this stuff? How does it work? How does everything work? Book. The second one has 5 exercise systems that, when combined, create hundreds of millions of combinations. Now, why would I put everything in one book and just put the systems? Because it allows you to create who you want to be. Certain exercises that work for certain limb pairs and certain groupings and languages, like figures, you pick and choose. The third book, Ultimate Stickings, wires the mind, the voice, and limbs. Just pick 2 limbs. It could be the feet, it could be the left side that's weak, it could be the right, whatever. Just pick 2 limbs, go through the book. And the fourth one, just so you know what's in it, it's really, really, really outrageous, because it's saying in an easy and actually understandable way that when you have 2 limbs working like this, you have 2 other limbs working. And there's a way to view your body so you know what's landing with what. But that book in particular takes and switches limb pairs, like, what's... But at the same time, you know... So I'm switching, like... And then I go... And then... So it's like 3 different limb pairs are all switching. It's wicked advanced, but it's based on the second book. So those are the book series. What the heck's going on? What is this? How does it work? Here's a ton of systems. You can build yourself from it. It's the building blocks to life. Oh, by the way, it's like, by the way, well, I know that can be confusing, so I think I'll publish Rhythm Knowledge 3, which says, like, look it. Let's just take one piece of this blue book. Let's just one piece, make a whole book out of this one little thing in the blue book that wires up the mind with these stickings to be clear that this is how we work. So those are the books. I have companion exercises on Vimeo.com now. That, again, that's coming down as of January 31st, but anybody that subscribes gets that for the whole length of the subscription, which is 30 days. Those videos will be accessed and show up somewhere else on a whole new website thing and whatever, as soon as I can, maybe mid-February. So that's the whole thing. And in the Vimeo, the Vimeo videos are hand technique. I mean, everything, anything and everything with the hands, anything and everything with the feet, hands, foot, and body, rhythm, counting, and a limb system. Tell your non-drummer friends that their 4 fingers work the same as my 4 limbs here. So anyway, that's enough. That's that's just the beginning.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Mike, for like inviting just everything you do, everything you stand for. You're one of the mentors here. We love you. Love to have you back, and just everything you do, and you're so giving. And everybody here has a discount code for the book. If you want to get Mike's book, I recommend it.
All of them.
And yeah, just thank you so much for everybody. Unmute yourself. Give Mike a quick thank you. And
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike.
Oh,
Thanks,
hey,
Mike.
Thank you, Chris.
you're welcome. Oh, by the way, guy, I included my solo album in that discount. So if you batch everything together, it basically the 10% off. It'll pay for the shipping because I can't discount shipping. It's not my thing. It's a U.S. office or UPS. There's nothing I can do. And for some people, the shipping gets expensive.
yeah, exactly.
It really does. So at least 10% off all the products helps with that. But it is what it is.
Outstanding. Well, thank you for continuing to evolve and continuing to inspire us. And we'll see you again. And yeah, thank you so much, Mike. We love you, man. We'll see you
See you
soon.
later.